A very good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar in your busy schedule. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sriram, and I'm the presenter for this webinar. So, endpoint management and security. I want to give a brief note about the products present under endpoint management and security. As you can see, there are two different sectors here. One is management and the other one is security. So it's nothing but, as you all know, Desktop Central is a unified endpoint management solution, which is being a part of management solution. And it also has whatever features you can find under security. So all these features are piled up together as a single product is what Desktop Central UEM is all about. We're going to see more information about the Desktop Central UEM in the coming slides. And with this screen, as you can find, these are the wide variety of products which are available under endpoint management solution and security. And in the coming months, we are planning up to release the new security suite with these features added to it. To know more information about the products, you can very well visit the below mentioned website. COVID-19. As you all are aware of the pandemic situation, and things are not going as expected from the month of January. Hope you and your family are safe, as it is recommended to stay indoors. As an organization, we have completely adopted to work from home policy. I believe all of you are working from home. So at this point, managing endpoints would be a tedious job for an administrator. So based on a study, we have listed out the challenges present in patch management during work from home scenario. So the first point would be unable to determine the end user's bandwidth. So before deploying an update, the administrator should be aware of the end user's bandwidth while deploying the patches. And we need to make sure that we notify the users in prior about the update. And we'd also like to talk more information about the schedule part. Like before deploying an update, we need to make sure an appropriate time for the users. That's another important thing which need to be taken care of. And the best part over here is you need to check with the reboot policy too. The reboot policy is one of the major part because you'll not be able to do a reboot whenever you need. You need to make sure that an appropriate time has been set for the reboot on the end user's machine. So it needs to be taken care in a much more better part over here when it comes to work from home situation. And we'll also discuss about handling patch related issues when it comes to work from home environment situation. So to explain this situation in a much more better way, I've taken a live example here. John, one of our loyal customers who is managing hotels in multiple locations, are managing over 15,000 computers in his network, which is spread across the globe. So on this specific case, he needs to manage multiple remote offices in different locations. Also, he needs to make sure that all the machines are being taken care of.
Let's take a look at how this entire scenario got changed because of the work from home situation now. So as you can see, John and his IT team is responsible for managing corporate endpoints at office and work from home machines which are running currently. So we have got the situation under two scenarios. One, you can, if he's going to be a VPN user, how this entire architecture works. And if you're going to use or if you're going to connect via internet, how the entire structure works. We're going to see both positives as well as what are the challenges involved when it comes to the VPN connectivity. So we'll see more information about this in the coming slide. Welcome to Desktop Central training program again. So in this entire webinar session, we're going to talk more information about how Desktop Central helps you and this current work from home situation. So here comes the training schedule. Let's have an overview of our training schedule now. It's a 7-week series and we are in week 1. So we've completed the first session, which is at 6:30 GMT, and now we are in the second session. And all these sessions will be recorded and it will be available in the below mentioned website. And all the registered participants will receive the recorded training video via an email as well. Before we start the training, I want to share with you the agenda for today. So here comes the overview. In overview, we're going to see what is Desktop Central and what it is capable of. Post that, we're going to see more information about the remote patching. And I'm very glad to announce you about the direct download option, which is getting released by next week. And I would like to give more information on how to deploy patches on this work from home environment to the user machines. And so moving with this situation, I would like to give more details on how the patching scenario works for this specific situation. We need to make sure that we plan in a better way for deploying the updates in the environment. And we'd also like to make sure that the exact or the mini deployment policy is being pushed to the client machine. Because we need to make sure when the machine should get rebooted or when the patches should get deployed. Because it's not the same situation where the machines are being placed under a remote office or under local office. Now it's going to be an entire different scenario. We need to make sure how effectively we can manage all the end user machines. At last, for better understanding, we'll share with you some of the interesting scenarios which I came across while interacting with the customers, and conclusion of the session with most frequently asked questions with answers. During the training session, if you come across any questions, feel free to use the chat option to chat with our expert team. We'll collect all the questions raised during the session, and they'll also be published for the larger audience view. And I would also like to let you know that we'll be using Desktop Central Server build version 5.14 for this presentation, and this application supports on all the browsers. So here comes the important part. What is Desktop Central? Desktop Central is a unified endpoint management solution that helps in managing servers, laptops, desktops, smartphones, tablets, and browsers from central location. Also, it automates your regular desktop management routines. As Foster said, products that provide a centralized policy engine for managing and securing employee laptops and mobile devices from a single console. And here we go with the UEM edition. So what is Desktop Central UEM edition all about? What do we offer? So Desktop Central UEM is a mixture of traditional management plus modern management. So it has all major features to manage the endpoints like patch management and mobile device management, software deployment, remote control, because remote control is one of the major features which is more needed for this specific situation. And we have OS deployment, tools, inventory, all these features are bundled up together as a single product. As I've mentioned earlier, using Desktop Central UEM edition, you'll be able to manage desktop, laptops, mobile, tablets, servers, POS devices, and browsers. And I'm proud to say that we have won the awards and recognition when it comes to Gartner Magic Quadrant for Unified Endpoint Management Tools for the second consecutive year. So it's for 2018 as well as for 2019. So here comes the feature which are present when it comes to the Unified Endpoint Management. So under Desktop Central, we have like all these important features and mobile device management, where under modern management, we have geo-tracking, kiosk mode management, preferred distribution, all these features under a single console. Components involved in Desktop Central. As you can see, there are three essential components involved with a server, agent, and notification server, which is default and it needs to be there in order to manage the product. What about the optional components? So we're going to see more information about the optional components in the coming slide. And I would like to give a small note about what is a failover server. Failover server brings in an additional server which actively monitors the primary server and takes over the operation when the primary server goes down. This feature helps you in eliminating the downtime in your business. We're going to see more information about the secure gateway server and the distribution server in the coming slides. Supported operating system. As we all know, Desktop Central support all three flavors of operating system: Windows, Mac, and Linux. And here comes the version detail about the supported operating system. You can even contact our support team. You can very well reach the website, so where you'll find all these information updated there. If you have any questions by now, you can very well use the chat option to chat with our expert team, and they'll be very happy to assist you. Agent installation methods. Let's see how to install the agent and the client machine, because that's the first and foremost step which need to be performed. Agent should be installed on all the machines in order to manage those client machines. And the best way to install the agent would be the automate agent installation from the console. So it's a very simple process. You can just push the agent from the console itself. While pushing the agent from the console, I would request you to kindly ensure the Desktop Central server have access to admin dollar of the client computer. Or if you have Windows GPO, if you're using Active Directory in your Windows network, you should be able to leverage that by deploying agents using group policy. And you can also download the agent manually and you can install it in your client. And also give you a step-by-step process of what needs to be done in order to agent installation. Patches and overview. We offer support for 1,000 plus applications in Desktop Central, and we support 350 plus third-party applications. Based on the use cases, a lot of customers had questions related to the monthly rollups or security updates which are released for Windows 7 and Windows 8 and Windows 10. So as you all know, Microsoft has stopped the support for Windows 7 devices, but they've also supported the ESU solution for their customers. So in this situation, we have created a separate blog on how these Windows 7 devices can still be managed with Desktop Central. So we request you to go to the blog, which will give you more information on how these things can be managed. So I'm going to give a brief note on which updates are mostly required for Windows 7, 8, and Windows 10. And when it comes to Windows 7 and 8, these are the major updates required. Security only update, an update that has all the main security updates for a given month. Security monthly quality rollup. They include both security and reliability updates that are packaged together. The monthly rollup addresses new security issues and will proactively include updates that were released in past. Delta and cumulative feature pack, these are the major updates required for the Windows 10 environment. What is a Delta update? An update that has all new security updates for a given month. And cumulative, they include both security and reliability updates that are packaged together. The cumulative update addresses new security issues and will proactively include updates that were released in past. Feature pack. I'm sure that all of you are aware of how a feature pack works with Desktop Central. So when it comes to feature pack, 18 months, like twice per year with new capabilities, the feature pack will be released and it will be available for service for another 18 months of time. So the current feature pack, which was released, is 1909, the Windows 10 1909 feature pack, which was also supported by Desktop Central. Full patch approach recommended by Microsoft. I'm going to provide more information on how Microsoft suggests their customer to deploy the package. Every month, second Tuesday will be considered as Patch Tuesday by Microsoft. During this time, a lot of patches will be released. So what exactly happens in this situation? Most of the customers, what they do, they only deploy the security updates in their environment. But the best thing which needs to be done here in this case is any patch which is required for the environment should be tested and it should be deployed to the production environment. If you feel that an unrated patch or a non-security patch is not required immediately, you can still schedule a deployment where you can even deploy the patches after the patch Tuesday, like third week or fourth week. So using this case, based on Microsoft suggestion, it is advisable to deploy all the required updates to the client machine. Patch management architecture. When a patch is released, it will be available in our vendor site. A patch crawler team repeatedly probes the internet to draw vulnerability patch information from the vendor site. Once the download is completed, the patches will be tested in our environment. So this testing involves whether the patches can successfully install, compatibility check, and the applicability of the patches will be tested during this process. And then it will be published to the central patch repository. The Desktop Central Server subscribes to Central Patch Repository to download the vulnerability database periodically. Once this process is done, the client machine should be scanned to identify the missing patches. After identifying the missing patches, Desktop Central Server directly downloads the required patches from the vendor side. So that's the major part over here. So now let's get into our objective. John and his IT team is responsible for managing corporate endpoints at office and work from home machines, like roaming users. As we have explained earlier, we have got the situation in two examples. One, a user can connect via internet. Another one would be the VPN users. The first case, when you go with roaming via internet, what are all the benefits for it? So no bandwidth restriction when it comes to the specific page, and it can be connected via secure gateway. And remote office machine, it's a remote office machine, but still those machines can be managed in a work from home situation. To explain more information about this, I'm going to take you to the Desktop Central console. So this is the latest version, which is 10.0.515, latest version of Desktop Central. So once you come up over here, I'm just going to log in as an administrator. So here comes the first part where we need to go to the secure gateway. So to check the secure gateway part, how are we going to manage the entire structure? So here comes the part of secure gateway. So what we need to do here is, what is a secure gateway first of all? Desktop Central Secure Gateway is a component that will be exposed to the internet. This secure gateway server acts as an intermediate server between the managed roaming agents and the Desktop Central server. So any communication from the roaming agents, from the work from home users, will be navigated through the secure gateway. So when the agent tries to contact the Desktop Central server, secure gateway receives all the communication and then it redirects to the Desktop Central server. So the major benefit of using the secure gateway server is the Desktop Central server will not get exposed to the internet. So you can very simply come up over here, you can download the secure gateway and you can install it. We've also given a step-by-step process of how to configure the secure gateway server. So once you click on learn more, you'll be able to find a detailed knowledge base which will help you in configuring the secure gateway. So post configuring the secure gateway, the major thing I should do here is to configure the NAT settings. So while coming up here with an NAT setting, I need to update the appropriate FTD details, and I need to make sure those information are getting saved. So once I've configured the secure gateway and updated the NAT settings, I should make sure that the machines which are part of remote office are being moved to a direct communication. So you find a quick launch option over here. So you can just click on this and you can go to the remote offices. As you can see, when I create a remote office, I'll find two options over here. One is through a distribution server, and the other one is through direct communication. So by default, when you are using the devices in different locations, you'll be using a distribution server in order to manage the bandwidth. But in this current situation, connecting via internet, I'm going to make sure that direct communication is chosen over here. So with this option, all the client machines can reach the secure gateway, and through secure gateway to be able to reach the desktop central server. So I should choose the direct communication option, and I need to click on add. Suppose this automatically, those client machines will be able to reach the server. So let's go back to the presentation for the second scenario. VPN users connected via VPN, low bandwidth. So in this case, most of the users might feel that using a VPN would be the better option. So when you use a VPN, there might be a lot of bandwidth constraint. Because of that, the deployment won't happen properly. So you need to use the bandwidth and the office environment as well as the internet on the user's end. So it is advisable to go with the roaming via internet option. We are going to discuss more features about a secure gateway in the coming slides. Remote patching introducing direct download. Hope you guys are more keen about the direct download feature. So it's nothing but your client machine, the agent which is present on your work from home machines, can directly download the patches from the vendor side. So that's the new feature which we have created, and it should be available by next week. To know more information about this feature, you can very well contact our support, or you can use the chat option to chat with our expert team. And the major prerequisite for the direct download is you need to upgrade your desktop central to the latest build, and you need to deploy the template to modify the agents to download the updates directly from the vendor side. A template needs to be deployed. So this is the overview of the template which should be deployed to the client machine. So this feature will get released within next week. Strategic patch management for work from home situation. So in order to make the work from home scenario more effective, we have come up with a strategic plan. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a system restore point for work from home endpoints, announcement regarding the patch management, scan and test on pilot group of computers, approval of patches, deploy to production computers, customize patch deployment for work from home, and finally, reports. So the first one, create system restore point for work from home endpoints. So how this needs to be done? For that, I'm gonna take you back to the desktop central concept. So the first case, as we've mentioned earlier, we need to go to the configuration module, and then under configuration module, we'll find script repository. So under templates, you can just search for the appropriate template. The template is enable system restore. So script to enable system restore configuration. If you just search for the template, it will be available where you can just add it to the repository. And from here, you can just push this configuration to all the client machines. So there will be first and foremost step which needs to be performed for the work from home scenario. So the second page would be announcement regarding the patch management. As we've seen earlier, before deploying an update to the client machine, we need to make sure that we notify the users about the deployment. So prior notification will help the user to plan things accordingly because he might be busy with another session or a call by that time. And it's not that easy for an administrator to collect all these information and then push the patches based on users' requirements. It's going to be like 300 or 3,000 users. It's really a tedious job for an administrator. So it is better to create an announcement which can be broadcasted, which can be sent to all the users about the deployment process. So you can update the details over here. You can put up the message information. Also, you can inform that from which time to which time the deployment is going to happen. And you can also put up the instruction that these are the updates we're going to deploy. So based on your requirement, you can customize the message. And you can make sure that when the announcement should be shown, so any specific date and time you want this information to be shown, or how frequently this information should be notified to the users. You can even update those information. Or if you've planned to deploy the updates, or if you plan to notify only specific users, you can also go with a domain or a specific user information, which is also possible. So we've completed the second important criteria here. The third one will be scan and test on pilot group of computers. So before deploying any update to the production environment, it is always advisable to test the patches in the test environment, like the pilot environment. So how to test the patches in the pilot environment? So here comes the first part. So we have an important feature which is test and approve. So how does test and approve feature works? And why it is necessary to test a patch before deploying to the production environment? Let's go with an example over here. You might be using a banking application in your production environment. What a new update which you're pushing to the production environment might create an issue or might down the banking application. So this is going to be an entire downtime for your production environment. So to avoid these cases, it's always advisable to test the patches in your pilot environment and then push the patches to the production environment. So following this process will avoid 99.9% of issues in the production environment. And this will also eliminate the downtime in your business. So here I'm going to choose the option test and approve, and I'm going to click on save, and I'm going to create a new test and approve group here. So for this situation, I can also create a custom group. So custom group is a more important feature where you'll be able to group a set of machines which can be used for different purpose under the product. So if you would like to know a report about the machines which are being a part of custom group, you'll be able to get it. And if you would like to push a specific configuration to those set of users, it is also possible with the custom. So I can very simply choose the machine to which I would like to deploy the updates. I can create a group name. Then I can very simply go ahead and choose the group which I've created. There is that. I can choose the type of updates I would like to push to the test environment. So whether it can be a critical update or an important update or a moderate update, what type of update I need, or I would like to test a feature pack in my pilot environment and then I would like to push it, I can also choose that. And we've also brought the third-party updates which need to be managed. You can even choose what type of updates you'd like to try and the driver updates too. As you're all aware that we also support driver updates for desktop syncing. So you can choose the required updates which you'd like to deploy, and you can choose the appropriate deployment policy, and then you can create this configuration. So once the configuration has been created, you'll be able to find those details under the testing approved group. So with that information, you can very well go ahead and approve the patches manually, or you can even automatically approve these patches, which is also another feature available inside the testing. As you can see, automatically approve patches after certain days. Let's go with an example. I have a Google Chrome patch which is available in my environment, and I would like to test those patches for 2 days, and then post 2 days, I would like to approve those patches. So I can just type 2 days over here and I can save it. The first 2 days, once the patches are successfully deployed, they will automatically get approved. And if you've enabled an automate patch deployment task, based on that, the patches will also get pushed to the production environment. So this is our third objective. And the fourth one is approval of patches. So the approval of patches is, again, as I've explained earlier, which is a very simple process. So you can just either manually approve it, or you can even automatically approve those patches. Deploying patches to the production computers. So while deploying patches to the production computers, there are two ways to perform the deployment. One is a manual deployment, and the other one is the automated patch deployment. So the manual deployment process is much easier, but it again requires a lot of work to be involved. So here you can just come up with the patch management view, and it shows like the number of patches which needs to be deployed. You can just choose the required patch and click on install patch, which will automatically choose the target machines. So it's not required to choose the target machines here. It will automatically choose the target machines. So the only thing we need to do here is just choose the deployment policy and choose when the update should get deployed. Either you would like to deploy this update immediately, or after 90 minutes, or within a refresh cycle. So you can plan accordingly and you can choose the option. So this is the manual way of deploying the updates to the production environment. And the other way is deploying the updates to the automated patch deployment process. We're going to see more information about the automated patch deployment once we move on to the presentation. Customized patch deployment for work from home situation. So how to customize this deployment process? So here is where the deployment policy comes into picture. So here I can choose by when the patches should get deployed twice. As you can see, preferred week split, which is like regular split or based on patch split. So for better understanding, regular split is nothing but I can choose which week I need the deployment to happen. Like first week or second week or third week, which week I need, I can choose the information. But most of the customers have requested that they would like to do a deployment based on patch based. So how do we calculate patch? As you all know, not every second Tuesday is a patch Tuesday. Sometimes not every second week comes under a patch Tuesday week, because sometimes it might even go as a third week. So as this case, you can see it's a third week altogether, but still it's a patch Tuesday week. So it's a second Tuesday, but not the second week. So to handle this situation, we've got things much better for you. So where we have created a separate window, so where you can choose if you'd like to deploy the patches on the same release week, or the week later to that, or the third week or fourth week, which week you would like to deploy these updates. You can very well choose those information over here. And based on that, the patch deployment will happen on the client machine. And you can even choose the deployment window here. That's the major part. So choosing the deployment window when the patches should get deployed on the client machine. So based on the notification, based on the announcement I've created, I can update that time over here, like 6 to 9 is the time which I would like to deploy the update. Is the second scenario over here. If I would like to create multiple schedules, even those options are available. So here comes the pre-deployment activity. So you do find an option to automatically turn on the machine before deployment, provided you need to have another machine available under the same subnet. So this will work. And user notification, you still have an option to provide access to users before deploying an update. You can still go ahead, use this option, and you can definitely notify the users before the deployment. Or if you feel that users are users might be busy and will not be able to deploy the updates, you can even make sure you can even provide an access to skip the deployment process, which is also available here. So you can come up here, you can choose this option, allow users to skip the deployment, and you can even do a forced deployment after certain days based on the user's approval. So whenever deployment is going to happen, user can very well go ahead and postpone the deployment too. So at last, reports. So getting reports is one of the easiest way to manage the process. So while discussing about the manual deployment process, you will also get a report of how many patches have been deployed and what is the status of it post the deployment completion. So here comes the next important part, which is patch, reboot, sync, and then scanning process. So database sync is one of the most important steps which need to be performed in order to identify the new patches which are released. So that's the first and foremost step which need to be performed. So as you can see, let me take you back to the console to show how the schedule process works. So under admin, you'll find an option called patch database sync. Here, you can very well go ahead and choose the options of what type of update you would like to manage in your environment. Whether you would like to manage Microsoft patches or third-party patches or driver updates or BIOS updates, what type of update you would like to manage. You can choose all those information over here. And I would like to give a better example here if you're managing like WSUS and you wish to only install third-party patches through Desktop Central. In this case, you can only choose to install the patches related to third-party updates. However, based on my support experience, most of the customers will use all the options to ensure that entire network is patched through Desktop Central and gain a single point of management. And you can even enable this vulnerability database as an automated process. So you can just come up over here, you can put up the start, you can put up the details, you can put up on a daily basis when you want the synchronization to happen. You can even update the email addresses to post the patch database sync. The user or the admin will get notified about the sync process. Create a new set of policies for the work from home endpoints. Allow users to skip the deployment. User scheduled reboot policy. End user applies the patch. So we're going to see these scenarios that I'm going to take you back to the console. So here under deployment policy, you can, as we discussed earlier, you can very well provide access to skip the deployment, which is a part over here. And the major thing would be providing access to users to do or choose their required reboot window. As you can see, the first option, show reboot prompt after certain days if they would like to choose after when or which day they would like to see the reboot window. You can even provide access so where user can select on their own requirements. And if the auto reboot window times out in certain minutes, you can even do a forced reboot, but it's not recommended for work from home situation. You can even choose the postpone interval. if you would like to provide access like user-defined time, like user want to choose a time by when the reboot should happen, you can also provide such access over here. As you can see, to skip the reboot, you'll find these options like this will be the notification pop-up which will be shown on the user's end. And this is going to be the option which I've mentioned. User can choose a specified time by when he should get notified about this process. So this is going to be the regular routine, which is like deployment policy for servers and Office. As per the agenda, the deployment should happen from 6 to 9 p.m., 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and then it could to wake up and then deploy the updates and then first reboot except server machines. So this policy is for the server machines which are present in the Office environment. For that, you can go back to the same deployment window. You can choose by when the deployment should happen. You can specify the time. You can put up the window time over here to where you can choose from which time to which time the deployment window should be open, like 6 to 9. And then you can also go ahead and use this option to force reboot the active machines, and you can even exclude the servers from doing a reboot. So this is how the force reboot notification shows on the end user machine. Automate patch deployment insights. So here I would like to give a detailed information on how an automate patch deployment task works. So based on the task which we have created, the patches will be downloaded from the vendor side. The server downloads the patches directly from the vendor side, and it will be deployed on the client machine. And then a detailed report will be shared to the administrator or the registered email address. And post that, you'll also be able to look the details of the patches which have been installed through that deployment task. I'd like to show how to create an automate patch deployment task. So under patch management, deployment, you'll find an option called automate patch deployment. So here, you can very well click on automate patch task. You can choose the updates which you'd like to manage, the same process, critical, important, what type of updates you'd like to manage, or antivirus technician updates if you'd like to manage, you can choose those. And you can choose an appropriate deployment policy, a policy which suits your environment. And you can choose the target to which you would like to deploy the updates. If you would like to deploy to a specific set of machines or to a specific group, you can very well add those information over here and you can push the configuration. And the major part would be how you need the reports to be sent to your email address. So currently, I'm getting this error message as it shows that mail server settings not configured. As I've not updated, as I've not configured my email details over here, I'm getting this error message. We have worked a lot when it comes to the knowledge base as well as the error message information will be shown to the customer in the console. So with this information, you'll be able to troubleshoot on your own. If you're not able to fix it, you can very well call us and we can assist you accordingly. So you can also get a detailed report about the deployment process, deployment failure, and the deployment report, like what needs to be performed. All those things can be present as a report, and it will be automatically sent to the email address based on the hour duration updated here. So here is a glance of patch management. So it's out of box feature, like we don't need WSUS and works as an independent product. And servers and workstations both can be patched. And we support cross-platform, like all three flavors of operating system. And we also support both Microsoft as well as third-party updates, like non-Microsoft updates are also supported. And we have the best test and approved automation process. So not only just deploying patches to the production environment was automated, even deploying patches to the pilot environment was automated here. And we have easy and effective deployment policies available. and declining patches on application is available when it comes to Desktop Central. And you'll also be able to get a detailed reports, and you can create filters based on your requirement, and you can also create scheduled reports which can be sent on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis. Desktop Central architecture. So Desktop Central architecture here gives you more information on how the machines which are present under the local office are getting managed. If you have any questions till now, please use the chat option to chat with our expert team, and they'll be very happy to help you out. As you all know, Desktop Central is an on-premises solution where Desktop Central server can be installed in your local network or DMZ. I presume everybody knows about DMZ, which is where you can place your server in secure hosting. So that the client machine can reach the server in a secure way. And post server installation, we can easily push the agents to the client machine. We've also seen like more information about the agent installation before getting into the patch deployment process. And we've also seen how a remote office or how to create remote offices on this stage. You might wonder what is a distribution server. As I explained earlier, in order to manage the bandwidth efficiently, distribution servers introduced. Desktop Central for closed network. To achieve users on the go, like roaming users, who move from one location to another, can also be managed with Desktop Central. And a major part would be to achieve machines or to manage the machines which are under the closed network. You can always make sure that these patch synchronization is being done by the machine which has active internet connection, and then those files need to be copied and updated to the server which is present in the environment. We also created a separate knowledge base on how to manage the machines which are being a part of closed network. So I can very well go through it. On this case, you'll be able to manage those machines. Azure and AWS marketplace. There might be multiple scenarios why you wish to install the server in cloud. If you manage more roaming users, having the server in cloud will be an advantage. So in this scenario, you can place the Desktop Central server under AWS or Azure. Or if you have a distribution server for cloud in your network, which will contact the Azure AWS instance, and your clients can also be managed. And I would also like to inform you about the ManageEngine Patch Manager Plus solution, which is a specific solution which is available to manage only patches in your environment. If you feel that an entire suite is not required, you can very well go with the ManageEngine Patch Manager Plus, which is available on both on-prem as well as on cloud. And I'm happy to inform you that ManageEngine Desktop Central will be on cloud very soon. First used by Desktop Central. I would like to let you know that agent server communication happens in port 8020 and the server to agent notification happens in port 8027 TCP. If it is a Windows firewall block the ports, we will also notify you in the home screen, and that can be added as an exception. Agent and server communication happens securely on port 8383. What happens if this port is blocked on the server machine? Any patch or software deployment task you push from the server will not get completed. So Desktop Central architecture is scalable to manage different network and even larger networks up to 25,000 machines, which is possible because of the refresh policy. So let me put this up in a simple terms where Desktop Central agent would be contacting the server at every 90 minutes. This is called as agent refresh policy. So this feature ensures that all computers in the network contact the server periodically. And we ensure two important factors here. Network is not choked by the agent communication. Like bandwidth is not getting disturbed due to agent server communication. And the performance of the server is also not affected at any stage. Responding to known vulnerability manager plus. So we are also planning to add, we've also got the Vulnerability Manager Plus as an add-on to Desktop Central. So we are working on the actual case over here, and it will be available soon. Automated remediation process and manual remediation process. So automated remediation process is nothing but we'll be able to show the exact threats which are present in your environment, and we'll be able to choose those threats and we'll be able to deploy from the console itself. Certain type of updates cannot be pushed to console, but we provide you a clear step-by-step process what needs to be done in order to fix those vulnerabilities, like update Postgres. So those information will be very well available, and to which site it needs you need to contact and what files need to be downloaded. All this information will be readily available. Scenarios and solutions. Do I need a secure gateway server for patching machine and work from home scenario? Yes, it is required to have a secure gateway, as we've seen earlier, in order to safeguard your desktop central server. It is always advisable to have a secure gateway between your roaming users and the desktop central server. And I'm glad to announce that we are also working on your secure gateway trial license. If you would like to extend your trial license for secure gateway, we would recommend you to contact our support team where we are happy to assist. Because in this work from home scenario, we can understand customer situation, and secure gateway is one of the most important and required feature in the situation. So we are solution. We are offering our customers for an extended trial version when it comes to secure gateway. Local office machines are now at work from home. How to make them contact desktop central server? So we have worked on a script which is readily available with this. So if you'd like to make sure that those roaming users are reaching your server, please do contact our support where we can help you with the script. Is it a good practice to expose distribution server? Definitely not. As we've mentioned earlier, it is not advisable to expose the distribution server outside, because that's the main scenario of putting a big secure gateway here. We don't really want the main server to get exposed because of the vulnerability. Is there a way for Desktop Central to download all necessary patches, then restart only once for end users? As per the current policy, what we have, inside the configuration window, if I'm going to create a deployment window now, so based on the configuration window, the patches will get completely deployed, and then the users will be notified about the reboot. If the user approves it, based on that, the reboot will happen in the client machine. When I exclude or decline a patch, this is removed from patch management dashboard page. Yes. When you obviously exclude or decline a patch, automatically those patches will not be shown under missing patches group. So there are two ways to exclude patches. One is selective inclusion. Selective inclusion is nothing but while deploying an update, I can very well go ahead and choose what type of update I would like to deploy. So I can choose only certain updates over here, and I can push only those updates to my client machine, which is possible. The permanent exclusion is nothing but declining those patches. So if you decline a patch, those patches will not be shown under missing, and you'll not be able to deploy those updates too. I can even decline patches based on the family, say the version ID, patch ID. There are multiple filters available here in order to search for a specific patch. Our business application misbehaved occasionally, and I suspect that recent patch deployment will be the cause. How can I roll back a patch? Yes, when it comes to Desktop Central, we also provide you an option to roll back the patch, like uninstalling the patch. So you can just come to the install patches view. You can choose the patch which you would like to uninstall, and you can click on. the appropriate field. So based on this, you'll be able to uninstall a specific app provided. The vendor should also provide an option to uninstall the app. To avoid all these cases, we always advise our customers to deploy the patches in your test environment and then push the patches to the production environment. While deploying the patches, I came across below errors on multiple points. How to get this fixed? What we have done now is for all these issues, we have created a detailed knowledge base which gives you a step-by-step process of what needs to be performed on the client level. If those steps did not help you in fixing a problem, please do reach our support with the latest agent logs with a screenshot of the error message, and we'll be able to assist you accordingly. How do I take that status report for a specific group of machines before and after patch testing? So it's a very simple process where I can go to the machine patches view and I can create a filter based on my requirement. So here I've already created patch Tuesday filter based on the release date. So if I'm going to close it, it will automatically show the updates which are getting released after patch Tuesday. Questions. How can I patch my Windows 10 machine and bring your own device setup? So this is one of the major questions which was raised by most of the customers. So this situation is more important because you might have a desktop which is being used in your office network. But now you might have got your personal laptop, and through that you're taking a remote of your desktop which is there on the office network. So how am I going to make sure that nothing which I'm currently using, my personal laptop, is secure? Because in this situation, if my laptop is vulnerable, definitely there are a lot of possibilities where the machine that is present in the office will also get affected. So in this situation, using the modern management technique, you'll be able to enroll your Windows 10 laptop devices through Desktop Central itself. If you'd like to know more information about this, please use the chat option where our expert team will be able to help you more details about it. How soon are the patches available to me after being released by Microsoft? So a security patch will be available within 8 hours of release, and a non-security update will be available within 24 hours of release. Can we ever reach a green state in patch management? Yes, it's definitely possible. So for that, you need to come up with this option, which is system health policy. The first thing we need to make sure here is we should deploy all the required updates with client machine, which will definitely help us with a green state. If you feel sometime, okay, I'm not able to deploy the non-critical updates, but still I want to make sure that my environment, or I want to make sure that my environment looks healthy, I need to come up over here. I can choose this policy based on my requirement. So if my machine has more than one critical patch, I would like to mention my machine as a highly vulnerable machine. So based on this, you'll be able to get a detailed report on the system health policy. So I'll be able to get how many machines are vulnerable, how many machines are healthy. All those information can be taken as a detailed report over here. As you can see, this machine has like almost 3 hours patches which is missing, and it's really vulnerable. If I would like to make this entire setup as healthy and clean, I should deploy all these updates, and I should also tweak the system health policy. I could see a difference in the patches discovered by Desktop Central against WSUS and Windows Update. Why? So there are situations where the WSUS might show a different update. Sometimes the patches would have not been supported by us. Some cases, it might be an expired update in the sense it could be like a patch which has been like declined or a patch which has been like superseded. So when it comes to Desktop Simple, we normally don't show the superseded updates. And if an update or if a patch is being declined, those patches will not be shown as missing. So before providing or going with this option, we would recommend you to check these basic information so where you'll be able to get a detailed information of which patches are being declined and which being superseded. How are failed patches handled in testing? So when it comes to failed patches, the working architecture of what we have when it comes to testing approval. I have like 15 machines in my test environment, and I'm deploying one single patch to all 15 machines. So the result comes up as 10 machines, the patch deployment was successful, and 5 machines it got failed. It doesn't mean it's a problem with the patch. It could be an environmental issue for those 5 machines. So in this case, we'll still show those patches as applicable one for the remaining machines because it's not a problem for the patch. If the patch deployment is getting failed on all 15 machines, then we'll consider the patch as a bad patch and it will not get updated. Is there a way to disable automatic updates of third-party applications like Adobe, Java, etc.? Yes. So we do have the easiest way to deploy the automated updates over here. So you can just start the view here and you can simply disable the automated updates, which is also possible. How can you see what are the patches released in this Patch Tuesday cycle and see all the missing systems? Yes, it's going to be a very simple process. So here under patch management, under patches, you'll find the information about the missing system. So you can very well create a view based on the patch release date, and you'll be able to find those information over here. Some patches have the description of reboot may require. Why is this? So when it comes to this specific scenario, may require reboot. So once the installer deploys an update the client machine, the installer will drop a file or key, a registry information on that specific machine. The agent that is present in that machine will collect those information and those details will get updated in the console. So most of the cases, it is not just depends on the patch, it is basically depends on the install. So for these cases, we would most probably recommend to do a reboot on all the machines. Most of the security updates and even non-security updates in this situation requires a reboot. Thank you so much for all your time and for being more patient on the call. And I'm extremely sorry for the inconvenience happened because of the audio issue. So you can rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best. You can also spread a word about the training on Twitter, Facebook, or in LinkedIn. The next training schedule is on software deployment, which is going to happen on April 15th, which is for 6:30 GMT and 11:30 UTC. If you need a personalized online demo for desktop essentially, you can very well reach our chat technician and they'll be happy to assist you. Thank you so much again. Thank you for joining the webinar. You have a wonderful day.